to my studio. I'm so excited, yeah. I've been thinking about what we could do for your costume, and I thought that maybe a cloak would be good, at least for the outside if we did something long. And then we could work on what's underneath. Yeah, I've fabricated something in the meantime, but I need to get your measurements to make sure that it's perfect. Yeah. Okay, why don't you come here and stand up straight for me so that I can measure your arm. Is that alright? Is it okay if I touch you? Thank you. Okay, so make sure to hold your arm up straight and your fingers out. Perfect, thank you. Oops, my tape measure is the wrong way. Alright. Yeah, that looks good. I just want to write these measurements down because I don't want to forget them. Okay. Let's do the other arm. Yep. Hold it out the same way, please. Perfect. Yep. Your arms are the exact same size. Really good. Okay. And now I'd like to get from your shoulders to the floor. And that way we'll be able to determine how long it needs to be, because we don't want it to be too long or too short. And the thing about sewing is you always want to have more than less. So you can always cut away and trim it, but if you don't have enough, then you're gonna have to do a lot more work. Okay. Will you stand up straight for me, please? Yeah. Have your shoulders back. That's perfect. Thank you so much. I'm gonna have to go all the way to the floor. Do you think you could hold this for me, please? Thank you. Okay, I just need to write that down. So I was thinking that we might want around 20 centimeters from the ground, and that'll give enough space that you're not standing on the bottom, but it'll still be really close to the floor so it can billow out. Yeah, we'll have to use quite a bit of fabric, but that's okay. Okay, so if I take that number and I subtract, perfect. Thank you. And the last measurement that I need is your shoulders from one side to the other. Thank you. Thank you so much. That's perfect. Let me just write that one down. That's great. And now what I would like to do is start marking. I have some fabric that I want to drape on you, and from there we can start moving forward with the process and what we need. Perfect. Yep. So with this fabric, I am going to mark on it so I can tell exactly where I need to cut. So this is called something chalk. And what you do is you can mark on your fabric and it will show you where your measurements are. The best part is that it will wash out if you need to wash your costume or once you're done sewing. So I have this yellow, or I have this blue. This is what it looks like. Which one do you prefer? It doesn't really matter. It's just for fun. Yeah, I like the blue too. I think it's going to look pretty cool. Not that it matters, but when I'm working on it. Alright, so just again, I'll be marking on you. So if you can please hold your shoulders straight up and your head up, thank you. That's perfect, yeah. Yeah, no, you're doing great. Okay, so the next thing is I have this tape, and what that's going to do is help me mark out where we need to create our pattern. Yeah, it's kind of like painter's tape, isn't it? Yeah, it's great. It also bends a little bit, so I can create the little curves like on your shoulder. It's pretty cool, right? Okay, just gonna do another one. Awesome. Thank you so much. And I think now we're ready to start penning. I have my little pen cushion here, and these are really thin and sharp pens. They're called satin pens, and the reason that you use them compared to the normal pens that are a bit thicker is because they won't leave a mark in the fabric. They're super sharp. So yeah, don't move. Yeah, I don't want to break you. I break myself. Yep. Sometimes it helps if I take a step back so that I can see the whole costume. Well, what we've got so far. Yeah. Great. Now it's time for my favorite part. I love using fabric scissors. That little snick. That's my favorite sound. So we're just going to trim away at some of the excess. want it to fit perfectly. Great. Next, I have some ribbon. I thought that maybe we could put that on the trim. Yeah, let me just grab my scissors. Don't worry, I have plenty more where that came from. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good color. What do you think? I quite like it, especially this detail on the end. Well, if you're not too sure about that, I do have a different one. It's a white satin, and I just need to trim the ends. Perfect. I'm very pleased with how that's looking so far. Next, I want to have a look at my lace. Yeah, it is quite pretty, isn't it? Yeah. So what I'll do is I'm going to pin this. I'll make sure not to break you. Oopsies. Yeah. That way I can have a look. I think maybe it needs to go in this orientation. Yeah. That's a lot better. Okay, and I did want to work with another one. I thought this was quite beautiful. Yeah, this little detail, isn't it lovely? So, when I work with finer things, I have these little snip ones. They're pretty small, and they help me get into those tiny nooks. Yeah, no, you're doing great, thank you. Thank you, you're standing so perfectly. Thank you, you're very, very easy to work with. Okay, next I wanted to have a look at this fringe. This tassel, I thought, could look quite lovely down the lapels. Yeah, let's just trim off the end. Just take a step back. Oh, let me pin it on first. That's perfect. Yeah, that little fringe is so fun. Yeah. Alright. So, in order to make the sleeves fit your wrists, I'm going to have to work with a little bit of elastic. Yeah. It is quite fun. Alright. Let me cut a little piece for you. See, once that goes around your wrist, then I can bunch it up and it'll stay in place. Yeah. So, another detail I thought would look pretty good is this chain. Yeah. I love that little tinkle sound. Yeah, it's pretty good. Okay. And for this one, the pins aren't going to be right. So I'm going to need to sew it. It's just a tack. It's called a tack. And that'll hold it in place. But it's very easy to pull out when I'm sewing. I've got my thread. Yep. And so when you're threading a needle, you always have to cut the tip so that there's no fraying. That helps to keep it nice and clean. Now it's time to thread it. And that's perfect. What I need to do now is create a little knot on the end. And the best way to do that, yeah, you have to lick your fingers and wrap it around, and then you just roll them a few times, and there's your knot. And I'm going to, I've lost my fabric. Sorry. Yeah. So, don't move, don't move. Yep, that's perfect. Just stand perfectly like that. Yep. Yeah, I think that's right. Let me just. Perfect. I need to measure a few more parts. I forgot. So I need to use this long measure because the tape measure is for the curves. And I just want to make sure that I get the right size. Yep. Let's not forget to write it down. Now, my favorite tape measure, well, it's not a tape measure, it's called a French curve. And it curves like this so that I can get to, I got it secondhand. I'm not sure who Pam is. Yeah. That's perfect, thank you. Lovely. Great. So next, I'm going to use my unpicker because one of the tacks that I did isn't quite right. And it's a little pokey part. And what you do once you put it into the fabric, well, into the thread, and there's a little blade down there. Let me trim that so that it's nice and clean. Perfect. Another part that I wanted to take a look at is these clasps. Yeah, so they're made from steel, and you put them together and take them apart. That way you don't have to fiddle with buttons. Yeah, it's a pretty fun sound, isn't it? I'm pretty happy with what we have so far. I think these measurements will help me create what we need, and we can come back and look at it once I have done a little bit of sewing and take it from there. Thank you so much. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you.